Yes, it's the Finnish football show. Welcome to another one of our match report shows. And we promised in our recent interview with Tinni Korpela that we were going to cover the women's game a little bit more. And Rich and I are here tonight to deliver on that. Hi, Rich.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, very, very well. Thanks. We've just watched Georgia 0, Finland 3. Is it a spoiler to give the score at the beginning of the podcast?
I'd be worried if people got their regular news from this podcast. We try to be current and accurate, but if you're that interested in the score, it's not difficult to find otherwise.
Yeah, but we are becoming more current. I don't know if we're becoming more interesting, but we're definitely becoming more current because the game only finished about 20 minutes ago, and we've jumped into this call here. So I have to admit that with all the different teams that I try and follow, that I haven't generally kept a close eye on the women's game personally. I know we have talked about it in the show over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, I suppose, but it's generally been in passing. So it's quite good to sit down today and actually watch the game. You watched the previous match as well, which was the win against Slovakia. How did today's game compare?
It was a different class, this. I mean, Finland played well against Slovakia and won 2-1. This, again, there was a big gulf in the quality of the opposition. I mean, Finland are quite a strong team. I mean, they've qualified for recent Euros, and Georgia were the bottom seeds of the group, and the class gulf was apparent from the off, really. I think Finland scored the first goal after 17 minutes, and in our WhatsApp group, we were describing just as a soft goal. It was like playing a cup tie against a team a couple of divisions below. It was, Finland looked assured. Georgia barely got the ball into the Finland half, and Tinni Korpela, as we discovered, she was making playing a 100th game for Finland this evening, and didn't have an awful lot to do, which I'm sure she'd have appreciated.
Well, she caught one fierce cross in the first half, and I think saved a long range shot. The second half, I think there was even less. I thought I was impressed by how Finland pressed and constantly pressurized Georgia all over the pitch. And I made the comment to the family that the ball hasn't gone into Finland's half, and it was maybe it was like 8 or 9 minutes into the game, and the ball hadn't really crossed the line.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very strong performance, and I mean, it was a very strong Finland team they put out. I mean, other than Kuika didn't play in this game, I'm not sure if she's in the squad, but she would have been a first choice central defender. But other than that, I mean, it was all the names you'd expect, and Linda Sällström scored, extending her record. Female, I don't know, she scored more goals than Pukki. So she scored in the first half and set up the second goal for Sanni Franssi. And it just looked like, I wouldn't say a training game as such, but Finland looked really comfortable. And once that second goal went in, I think that was it, really. It was just a little bit of a relax, because it was a very convincing 1-0 lead for the first 68 minutes. And it was nice to see them kind of make it a little bit more comfortable at the end.
I tell you what I noticed quite early in the first half. It took me a while to realise who'd done it, because the action replays weren't that kind of efficient today. Like, they didn't show replays of everything, but I think it was Anna Westerlund who sprayed a couple of long passes from almost like that quarterback position, and one went out left, and then the ball sort of came back to her, and then another one went immediately out right, and it really caught my eye. And she did it a few more times during the game, but she was sort of, well, physically head and shoulders above her opponents there, but also, like you said, in class as well. It was the first goal was soft. It was a strike from the edge of the box, although it was a decent strike, and it was sort of swerving away from the keeper, but the keeper didn't really make much of an effort to sort of dive to save it.
No, I mean, Finland won the ball back again from the press, and the ball broke to Linda Sällström, and it was looking at it from one angle, it was from outside the box, a curving shot that with a nice bit of power on it. But the goalkeeper looked, I mean, you described it as like a sensible soccer goalkeeper, and she just looked like she wasn't paying attention, or she was, her weight was on the wrong foot or something, but she barely reacted to it. And it turned out it looked like, from another angle, like almost an open goal. So it was, a nice way to kind of get an early-ish goal and get that ball rolling, really.
Yeah, and it was kind of constant. I think it's worth mentioning now. The pitch, what was going on with that pitch? It was appalling. The stadium itself looks like quite a neat stadium and a nice place to play, but the surface was patchy. There was sand, like patches of sand all over it. The color of the green was very sort of blotchy as well, and the ball was bouncing around all over the place. It made the players look a bit silly at times, and you think, in the beginning I was thinking, oh, they're like they're miscontrolling. This is not very good. And then I thought, hang on, it's the pitch. Like it was all the way through, and it was causing problems from the beginning to the end. But it was a bit of a disgrace, really.
Yeah, it was a bit. I mean, it kind of reminds you of the old 70s and 80s cup winners, cup ties away on a weeknight evening. And that was it. It was difficult. I mean, Finland, when they play at home, it's normally on either artificial or hybrid turf or something like the Olympia Stadium, which is fairly new and in really good condition. So going to that, it is adding an extra dimension. And I mean, it didn't benefit the home side at all either. So I suppose at least it was a level playing field on paper, if not on grass. But it was
it was the opposite of a level playing field on grass.
Yeah. And I mean, it was an extra challenge. And I guess luckily Georgia offered so little that it gave Finland enough time to acclimatise to that. Obviously, they have their training session 24 hours before the match, but they looked so comfortable. It was obviously, it was the same for both teams, but they made it look like it was an irrelevance, which just shows how much of a quality performance it was.
Yeah, it was, and it was a really. You've referred to the goals, the second and third goals briefly. They came in quick succession. The first one was a lovely kind of what's that, fading pass down the right wing from Danielsson to Sällström, and she carried the ball forward a little, crossed it to the back post, and Sanni Franssi was there, and she was really composed. She took a nice touch, cut inside, and just sort of stroked it high past the keeper into the net. It was a classy goal.
It was, and I mean the ball, I suppose, in Sunday League parlance, was into the channels down towards the wing, and Sällström did well. She attracted a couple of defenders, and Sanni Franssi had the freedom of, it was a game in Tbilisi or somewhere, but she occupied more of Georgia than the Georgian army, and it was she had so much space that she could take that touch. No one closed her down, and it was again a composed finish. She came on as a halftime substitute, and it was nice to get her in the goals as well. It was such a well taken goal, but I mean, really, if you're never going to get that much chance against a half decent team, let alone Georgia.
A couple of minutes later, it was followed up by a penalty for Finland. From what I could tell, again from the limited replays, it was a cross from the left, and a shot from inside the box that was deflected over the bar, and I think, was it at that point it deflected off the defender's arm? It seemed quite harsh. I think if that had gone against me, I wouldn't have been too happy. But the penalty was tucked away into the bottom corner by Emmi Alanen, while the keeper was kind of dancing along a goal line. Really, she was more focused on her dancing than her saving. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the keeper's performance in the 3 goals was really strange. That again, that's the sort of thing that you can kind of get away with in a penalty shootout, because the keeper's not expected to make the save. But when you're 2-0 down, and that, I mean, that third goal absolutely finished it off, and she just, again, not really giving it her all and paying attention. So it was a strange, I mean, it's a harsh one to concede, but yeah, it was a confidently comfortable penalty, but it was just very lackluster attempt by the goalkeeper, and pretty much a night to forget all round.
I think in the full Finnish football show at the end of September, we kind of threw forward a little bit to these games and said that Sweden would be the toughest opponent in the group. But after 2 games, Finland and Sweden are sort of sitting comfortably at the top of the group. There is one more game this evening, isn't there?
Yeah, so Sweden play Ireland. It'll be Ireland's first match in the group.
Yes.
So it'll be a bit more of a gauge of where they are, because Finland play Ireland in Helsinki on Tuesday. So we'll see there by then where things are a little bit more. I guess, as the group stands, admittedly with Ireland playing 0 games, it's going by seedings. But Sweden and Finland have both won both their games, scoring 5 goals. So it's it'll be interesting. Again, Finland play Sweden, I think it's next month, is it early December? So, and that's going to be the really tough tie, because that is a good Sweden team. But as in the build up to the game, there was some talk about how Finland, and again, Tinny mentioned it as well, that number 2 in the group for Finland is still a playoff spot in the really weird system it is. So, but yeah, to get two wins out of 2 at the beginning of the group, that's all we can ask for, really.
One other thing that Tinny said, and we're referring back to the previous episode, the In Conversation with Tinny Korpela. She said that this group, each team in the group was kind of the highest seeded team in their pot. So Finland will look at this as being a challenging group. So, yes, they've beaten the 4th and the 5th seeded team in this group, but you've got to do that to put yourself in this position. So it's a positive start, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing the game on Tuesday is back at home, the Ireland game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at the Olympia Stadium. So, okay. They've already sold quite a few tickets for it, so hopefully it'll be a decent atmosphere. I think they've said that they're making a big play about getting a lot of junior teams involved, a lot of junior clubs. So, it'll be a good test as well, and just getting back into that swing of playing. And I think if they can come out of that game with a win, we'll see how Ireland do tonight as we're recording. But that would be a huge boost. It's a big week for Finland. Next week they find out the groups for the Euros next summer, so that draws a week today. So it'll be an interesting few days coming up.
Yeah, sounds good. And I'm looking forward to the game on Tuesday, just to sort of continue my education into the Finnish women's game. But I'm also looking forward to the Huuhkajat game in Helsinki in the middle of November, where we are all going to meet up. The Finnish football show team will all be together in the same room. In one case, not the same hotel room, but in the same place for the first time ever. So I'm sort of quite excited about that, and we're going to arrange some kind of meetup before the game. So if any of you are listening to this show and you're in Helsinki, whether you're going to the game or not, you'll be very welcome to come and say hi. We'll have some more details of that at a later date, but it's I'm looking at that's going to be my Syysloma, my autumn holiday. It's a 1-night 2-day trip to Helsinki, so come help me make the most of it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And so sort of each of us have met sort of individually, or we've had sort of 2, and I think on one occasion 3 at the same place. But other than that, it's just nice to kind of get together, and that'll be that week is our 6th anniversary of, was it the first episode we put out?
It is, yeah. I was looking at that the other day. So we'll record a couple of episodes around that game, and that's almost 6 years to the date that we launched the show. So that's
haven't things changed in that time,
eh? Well, we do more shows now. I'm not necessarily sure that we're any more professional at it, but we're more prolific. That's got to be something.
Yeah, and again, we'll do a preview of the Huuhkajat fixtures, but we're at a point where qualification, or at least for the playoffs for the World Cup, is still in Finland's hands. So by then we'll have a good idea. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, and yeah, it's nice to get in a room. And actually, I mean, that'll be the first time I've been to Finland for 5 years, I think. 4 years, 4.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's just for a night, and I'm just looking forward to having my own hotel room, having a breakfast with no noise, no kids.
It sounds good. Hey, listener, thanks for joining us for this show. Obviously, we've managed to prattle on for longer than we expected to, but hopefully that's a nice introduction to you to following the Helmarit, and we'll be back. Some permutation of the team will be here on Tuesday after the Ireland game to just have a little run through of that. Remember, wherever you're watching or listening, just to subscribe to the show so you get every new episode as it comes along, and find us on social media. The website is finishfootballshow.com, and from there you'll find links to all of our various social media. So, Rich, hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, see you then.
Right, thanks a lot. Bye.